What is a minor confession you would like to make today? I have a shopping cart in my backyard. A homeless person left it in my front yard. He took everything out of it, so it was empty. It had a call this number and we will retrieve this cart phone number on it. The cart belonged to a big store chain that everyone has heard about. The person who answered asked me to identify the cart. It had some sort of number or word on it. I don't recall. The employee told me the cart came from the store a good 15 miles north of me, and to call that the sign on the cart said to call this number. Nope, they don't do that anymore. Call the other store. I called the other store. They said they were not going to come and get it, because I was outside of their range. Instead I should take the cart to their closer. Take the cart. I'm doing you a solid here just by telling you where it. Call the local store, says they don't pick up carts that don't belong to them. Tells me to call their cart recovery service, who will deliver the cart. Okay. Now, we are going somewhere. I call the cart delivery service. They tell me that they will pick up the cart and deliver it. If I pay them $1, you should pay me. You know it is against city law to keep a grocery store's cart. You could get arrested for it. Fine. Thank you for that advice. So, on the advice of the cart delivery service, I removed identifying signs from the cart. It now serves as an aluminum can holder in my backyard. I bolted a can crusher to it. When the cart is full, I crush the cans. When I fill a 35-gallon trash can with crushed cans, I toss it in the bed of my truck and cash out. I get about $30 or so for it, a couple of times a year. There was a 3-week period of my life where every day I would purchase a large Dairy Queen Blizzard, then park and consume it alone in my car. One day I finished my Blizzard but wasn't satisfied. By this time, I had been going to the same Dairy Queen for so long the drive-thru workers recognized me. Instead of pulling through the drive-thru again, I shamefully drove 20 minutes away to the next Dairy Queen and got another there. Talked to in a while hit me up with a DM on Twitter and I was like, oh, yeah, I haven't talked to them in a long time. Only 2 found out they were pitching their Kickstarter, so it made me a little sad. Currently eating an ice cream sandwich and intentionally concealing it from my 2-year-old so he doesn't demand a bite. Most of the time when I'm on the till at my job, I go to the bathroom to avoid serving certain customers. I have to interview people at work and I think I'm usually way more nervous than they are. Also, when the interview isn't going well, and they know it, and they know you know they know it, it's the worst feeling in the world. You just want to give them a hug but for some reason that's unprofessional. I bought and ate an entire blooming onion by myself. I didn't even eat it at the Outback. I took it home so I could devour it in my room, lit only by the dim light of my monitor like some degenerate goblin while I scrolled through Reddit. I once ate 4 burritos in one day. Woke up. Nobody was home, so I bought a burrito. Sister called me hours later saying if I wanted anything from the taco shop. Since there were no witnesses, I said buy me a burrito. Ate it. Then she left for work or something. Then my brother called, said if I wanted anything from the taco shop. Again there were no witnesses so I said another burrito. Ate it. Then I went drinking with friends. And here in San Diego everybody goes to the taco shop afterwards, so I had another burrito. Every time my friend asks me to play Valorant with him, I don't actually want to play Valorant. I just really like talking to him. He's cool. About half an hour ago I farted really bad in the chip aisle at the supermarket. It was silent but deadly. I got the fuck out of there when I smelled it since there was no one around and no one would know it was me once I cleared the scene. When I looped around to go to the checkout a few minutes later there was some kid running around and stops dead in her tracks where I had farted and made the most traumatized disgusted face. Her mother was right behind her and started whisper shouting at her if she had pooped her pants again and she starts saying she didn't. I know you didn't, kid. It was me. I think it was a tuna sandwich. I normally buy the top ramen that comes in a 6-pack for like $1. I decided to splurge and try more expensive ramen. So I bought Nissan Ro King of Ramen for $2 for a single serving. I like the top ramen better. I haven't told my mom I quit my job. I'm going on vacation and she is asking how I can do that with no vacation hours left. Lost all the hours cause of COVID last month. Edit to help clarify. My mom and I work for the same company, so I used her as a reference when getting the job. I don't work with special needs kids because I love it or because working with them is the right thing to do. I don't love or care about them any more than I do regular people. When they graduate and leave, I only miss them in the slightest possible way. Like the occasional thought about them that brings almost no feeling, I do it because I am good at it. I can stay emotionally and invested, which keeps me calm and patient to extreme degrees. It also makes me a rock, which I feel is very helpful to them. I play the part about caring so much. When people say stuff like that, I just say thank you. And it's such a joy working with the end. It's just a job I am good at, so I keep doing it. I can't figure out if I want to go out and meet people because I'm supposed to want to, or if I'm happy to become a shut-in. I took a WFH shot and can have my groceries delivered. I'm basically Sandra Bullock in the net at this point, and I socialize more online than I do IRL. I accidentally, absent-mindedly, took one of the red hand baskets from Target 9 years ago and never returned it. I had put my bags back in it and carried it out to my car like I would have pushed a cart out. I put the whole thing in the trunk and realized when I got home. Side note, I've been medicated for ADHD since then. I use it all the time. Yard work, cleaning supplies, I've taken it on vacation more times than I can count. It's super convenient and I just can't part with it. I loathe every single person other than one at my current job. And nothing gets me through shifts more than the knowledge that I only have for more days there. I'm naked right now and have no plans to get dressed in the immediate as a heat wave where I am. And I live alone in a 19th century house with no air conditioning. I got out of the shower an hour ago, considered getting dressed, then thought, what's the point? Update now, commencing day 2 of my birthday suit project. I did put on a pair of shorts to sleep just in case there was a fire or something that would make me run outside in a hurry. The weather is just as hot today, and I have nowhere I need to be, so why not? When no one is watching, I'm completely useless. I will lay in bed for 24 hours without even eating or drinking, just scrolling through Reddit and TikTok. Though when there are others around, I can be the most productive, healthy, and energetic person you've ever met. I would like to disappear, get in my car and drive somewhere. Tell people I'm leaving and will be back, but not telling them back after a few weeks. I know damn well I couldn't afford it, but it's been a persistent thought of mine for months. I love the guy snoring in my bed, but am too scared to tell he was the first to say I love you. Guess y'all were right. As I get older, I'm starting to realize that people aren't conveniently divided into people I'll like and people I don't like. A former can have traits absolutely despise, and people that I first slotted into the latter can turn out to have traits I adore. Well, both also have traits that are why I had that first impression. If I were to write off every single person that did something I didn't like, I wouldn't know anyone. To be a social adult, you have to compromise on what you're willing to tolerate to some extent, and I feel guilty for not realizing this sooner. I dropped my son off for his last day of preschool the other day. Everyone sees me as a rugged, tough firefighter type. I cry my eyes out on the drive home. I am happier when I am alone virtually 100% of the time. It's not that I don't like people. I have a few friends I see at least weekly, and I've been in a relationship for over 2 years now. I just prefer being alone. There's no expectations on me, and I don't have to worry about how something I do will be perceived. I'm never fully comfortable when people are around. My secret recipe cinnamon rolls are actually just can't. People have told me they're the best they've ever had, so I guess I just now have to lie about it forever. I only bring the fancy soap to work because the work soap should be able to wash their hands with good soap. I had surgery last Friday, and it's been really nice just chilling and not having to do anything for a little while. Like, good enough I kinda want to do another surgery. The other day I found a turnip in the garden and I ate it all by myself, and I didn't share it. It was so delicious. I try on shoes at an upscale store nearby with no intention of buying. I snap a pic of the box information, look up the shoes online, and buy the pair for half the price elsewhere, or better if they're on eBay or something. Also, I earn a solid income but buy almost all my clothes at thrift stores. I can't tell my mother any of this or she'd be horrified. I'm tired of listening that my brother has like 10 interviews per week and he has job offers. I've been without an interview in months and been rejected by 90 companies this month. He's like, don't give up. Look at me. I'm tired, and honestly he's not helping at all. Do confessions have to be bad? I'm 3 days sober, struggling, haven't had anyone to talk to, but I'm here and I'm doing great. When the first Spider-Man game came out on PS4, I was so into it. I woke up one morning for my job at 7 a.m. I was supposed to be there by 8, but I really wanted to play. I called my manager for that day and told him I had a migraine. He was also a good friend at work, so he believed me. Felt kinda bad for lying. Did not feel bad for the hours of fun I had that morning. Wife's been out of the country for a month now. She told me not to masturbate cause Jesus is watching. You know what? I did. Plenty of times. Sorry Jesus. I only graduated high school BC. I cheated on state tests that factored into a final grade for a class that if I didn't pass, would have had to repeat 12th grade. Ironically, I'm debt-free and am pretty successful in my career. I feel like I'm pretty far better off than most of my graduating class. Most are on meth. At my old job, I would go into one particular stairwell no one ever used and goof off. I once spent an entire 8-hour shift watching Star Trek: The Next Generation on Netflix. A few days ago, I was able to see a certain song live in concert. That song was a big part of the darkest time of my life, when I had several big issues because of my then new ADD meds that didn't work as planned on me. I thought I worked through all the shit I've seen, heard and felt. I thought it was long behind me. I mean 8 years back, it hasn't really bothered me since. Sure, there's maybe 1 or 2 insecurities or fears that maybe stem from the trauma, but otherwise I was fine. Well, after hearing that song again, played live in an extremely emotional moment, I broke down. I cried in the arms of 4 strangers that night and I haven't felt the same since. There is so much I haven't worked out yet and so many feelings that it's overwhelming, but I don't have the time or the energy to deal with them. I really don't know what to do except let them eat at me for as long as it takes until they disappear again like they did all those years ago. When I was like 5 years old, I had my first sleepover with my friend Jason. In the morning, Jason and I were having Fruit Loops cereal for breakfast. I had never had Fruit Loops cereal before. It was amazing. I had a second bowl and when I was closing the box, I pushed the plastic bag down inside the box with my hand and Jason's mom saw this. She said, "Get your filthy hands out of my cereal." I secretly called her a bitch under my breath and never hung out with Jason again. I've written damn near an entire novel and I have never told my wife about it. I know I am a good writer and I've had some solid feedback, lots of encouragement to submit it, but I'm so far down the process that I feel bad I haven't shared this with her. Eats support about most things including occasional joblessness on my part, but she has a tendency to start off with that's never going to work and this is one thing I've always wanted to do. But I keep cordoning off from her because I cannot bear criticism from her on this one thing. So it's, hey, I wrote this thing and never mentioned it which will not be well received, or hey, I wrote this thing and I want your support which won't be her first move. Maybe both. I don't think I'm really cut out for this whole life thing. Like I'm in my mid-20s and even the thought of having to work almost every day for the rest of my life depresses me so much. Like I love my friends and video games and stuff, but like I think I only got another decade in me before I call it quits. Reddit threads irritate me when too many people reply to the same comment and I have to scroll forever to find a different op. I lost my job 2 days ago and I am in no rush to find a new one because I hate working. Anything I don't really enjoy, for a company I don't really care about, to make the money that I am required to have to pay rent on the place that I'm only living in because of its financial convenience. It wears me down mentally, feels pointless at times because of the lack of passion. I genuinely want to have hope for humanity, but I am really struggling to see that as anything other than futile. I told my husband I was headed to my parents' house to take care of their cats while they're away. I did take care of their cats, but now I'm sitting here eating ice cream straight out of the container enjoying the peace and silence. Your new parents. Edit grammar. Edit to those saying it's a shitty thing to do. I'm the default parent most of the time. I deserve 30 meters of not being needed. My husband is a present father and does get his own breaks. You don't know us. My dad and his girlfriend are asking me go to this cookout they're doing, but I don't actually want to do it. I want to go home and do my art homework. I don't want to do anything except stay in a cabin on the coast and fetch water, chop wood. I just want to be a human being. I'm not sure I care if I ever see my family again excluding my dad. I feel like I am slowly letting all my relationships other than my marriage die. Some days I wonder if I actually feel anything toward anyone. I work at an ice cream store. Sometimes, when cards decline, I just cancel the transaction and hand the product out for free. I relapsed today on pills and am scared to tell any of my close friends that know about my issues and try to help, because I'm terrified of what they'll think this time. I'm soul-crushingly scared I'm going to fuck up my entire life and lose the ones I love by lashing out and not being able to communicate properly. I don't remember the last time I could describe myself as happy. I have happy moments, but I don't think I'd have described myself as happy. I feel pretty empty at the moment, but in just not anything and am pretty disappointed by some small stuff that happened to me today. I'm very attracted to Latin women. My GF is not Latin, and also unaware of this fact, so this is my minor confession. I would like to say that I wouldn't trade my GF for anyone in the world BTW. I still have nightmares about my ex-wife and her affair partner at least 2 times a week. I relive finding out and fighting for my marriage every time this happens. It makes life hard. I've got 2 very important exams tomorrow. I don't intend on studying for them despite huge pressure and supposedly being the smart kid. I'm just too tired at this point. My internet went out while I was working at about 11:30 a.m. I got a final update around to that said it should be resolved by 5:45. I texted my sup and told her I would be out for the rest of the day since I'm off at 5. It came back on at about 2:05. I didn't return to work and when my phone rang twice with what I am sure was to reset a password for someone, I just ignored it. I DoorDashed a couple Philly cheese, opened a bottle of wine, rolled a joint and watched a UFO documentary with my wife. It was worth it. I hate cilantro, but I don't think it tastes like soap. If I say I dislike it for other reasons, I get the whole, you just haven't had it prepared correctly bullshit argument, as if I can't tell that something tastes disgusting when I put it in my mouth. So I just said, yeah, sorry, no cilantro, tastes like soap. And everyone shuts the fuck up about it immediately. But it's a lie, it doesn't taste like soap. Just ass. For what it's worth, parsley tastes almost the same to me. Like a different flavor of ass, that whole family of herbs is garbage. I have a huge crush on a guy at work and I don't know how to deal with it without constantly embarrassing myself. I'm completely lost in ambitions or goals. I'm pretty much just straight up existing and yet people think I'm on a great path with a level head. I feel like some minor confession because everyone is just struggling to get through life right now. No one really had it all sorted out and know exactly what will happen in any amount of time from now. I hate that my GF doesn't like conflict because most of her problems would be solved by embracing a small conflict and asserting her position somehow. Work problems, she should talk with her boss because she helped him a lot during the years and deserves to be treated better. Family problems, she needs to assert her position as the leader since she's one drives me crazy. I'm suffer from imposter syndrome on most days, including today, while I interviewed for a VP role with the CTO. Maybe I don't have what it takes. I'm fairly sure my ADHD meds are giving me an eating disorder and I don't really care. For the first time in my life I've lost weight without hating every moment of it. Because of other factors, even if I worked out and tried my hardest to eat healthy, I had intense cravings that physically pained me, and I ended up staying around 220. I'm now down to 180, and don't intend to even work on fixing it unless I get scary skinny. My fear is that I won't notice until it's too late and I have a full-blown disorder. But for now I'm just vibing and dropping weight from not having the cravings. I'm slowly regressing into a catatonic depressive state, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't want to burden anyone with it, and the people who could comfort me don't exist. Please don't respond to this. I just want to write it down somewhere so someone knows. Hopefully it'll make me feel better. I'm awful with never play the long game, always going for the short-term happy but fleeting feeling. My best friend, who is straight, I'd totally sleep with. It won't ever happen OFC, and that's not a problem for me, but I do hate when he makes too many self-deprecating jokes about his appearance or never having had a girlfriend. The only reason I passed high school math is because I learned the password to the teacher app and cheated my way through trig and algebra 2. I was homeschooled, so sorry mom, but don't daisy chain your passwords. Whenever I worked at McDonald's and I had to throw a drink away, I would drink some of it then throw it away. I would also purposefully remake an ice cream cone if it was ugly so I could take a chomp out of the ugly one. For the first time I am focusing on myself in life and I feel like I've wasted so much time living for others. Being happy feels weird. When I was a kid, I grabbed the eyes of a kid in a Guess Who sort of joke from behind. I couldn't have been more than 11, but the kid freaked out and screamed bloody murder like I was a predator. I then freaked out too and put my hand over their mouth to shut them up, ling for them, and even though they said they were fine, I knew I was in trouble, so I tried to hide. But when I couldn't find a place to, I just ran like hell, like I had committed a fucking robbery. I ran all the way home, changed my clothes, sat down on the couch and flipped the TV on. My mom came and asked what is going on. I said nothing, and lied about having been at the park with friends a moment ago. Seems the other mom called my mom and told me what her kid had told her, that I had somehow violently assaulted her kid. My mom either believed me or didn't think it was a big deal, so she called the mom back, explained what I said, and they arranged a date for me to apologize, which I did as sincerely as I could. The truth is ... I didn't think they were my friend. They were just a random kid I thought would be fun to surprise. I didn't know they'd freak it is, a 20-year-old secret, finally confessed. Sorry, Mom. That kid was a fucking wuss and their mom was a stupid bitch. I told my wife I won a guitar and we're dating so she wouldn't get mad at me for buying it. No combined accounts yet. I was a urinal pooper in grade school on 3 separate occasions. Perfect record. Was never caught nor suspected. I faked a COVID test result because I needed a break. In a horrible job with horrible management and was so stressed that I was making myself sick, that they were so judgy about time off that I felt like I couldn't take a break unless I really needed to. I told all of my friends and family I had COVID and rested for a week and got more of a break than I've had in years. This was after any state or government mandates ended about being paid for taking time off to recover from COVID, so I didn't get any money. Cookies. He makes them huge. My fat ass likes to eat the raw dough, so I take bites until I'm satisfied and re-roll them so he won't notice. He comes in and wonders why all the cookies are quarter-sized. I've been lying about a food allergy my entire life because I hate and wanted to. Clearly I invented the allergy when I was about 12 at church camp and just kept the lie up. Even my mom thinks I'm allergic. I just told her it developed over time, and she believes me too. Her and I did have about a 10-year disconnect though. When I was 22, I had sex with 3 different women in the space of 48 hours, and none of them were my then girlfriend. She dumped me for unrelated reasons not too long after that. I deserved it for many reasons. Tested positive for COVID 10 days ago. Been negative for 3 days now and work wants me back, but I told them I still have symptoms because I want the time off and have no vacation time left. I'll go first. I just realized today that in the song Woman by Doja Cat, she's saying let me be your woman, not let me be your Roomba.